Hello, everybody. Welcome to Lotus Living with Shar. I am your host, Shar Andrews, here with my friend of the show, pseudo co-host, right-hand woman, Mercedes. Yes. So we are here today. Thank you for tuning in with us. Thank you for spending your next podcast moment with us today. We appreciate it. So we're going to get right into it. Y'all know how we start the show off. We started off high. How about this? We started high. We go through it high. We ended high. Not on cannabis, but on life.
Maybe.
No shade. None. At all to the cannabis lovers out there. I am cannabis friendly, meaning I'm here for plant silver pills. And we'll talk about that. Maybe this episode we can talk about plant silver pills. Mm-hmm. You know what? Maybe we'll talk about it, folks. Mm-hmm. However, just starting off high, optimistic, positive. This first segment is called Talk Your Shit. I kind of introduced Mercedes just now. However, she did introduce herself, but you might know her, you might not know her. If you're new, we can't talk our shit enough around here at Lotus Living. So Mercedes, talk your shit, tell the people who they are.
I done said so many different things about myself. At this point, I'm like a multiverse black woman. My name is Mercedes. I am at Lotus Living with Shar. I'm having a good time. I'm talking my shit. If you don't know me, I'm a licensed nail tech. I'm an astrologist. I also work for the only, because I just Googled it, the only black woman led and owned wellness retreat in Pennsylvania, in the tri-state area. If you was trying to fuck with me then, you can't fuck with me now.
That's it.
No.
And that's all.
Damn it.
That's it. And that's all. Talk about talking shit. I mean, why not?
Right.
Let me tell you something. I'm going to talk my shit today too.
Period.
And this is what I'm going to say. I'm talking my shit today, and what I want to focus on is the fact that in the past few weeks, I have been tested and tried and haven't picked up a case. How about that?
Listen.
I ain't in jail. Because I surely was being pushed to the precipice of knocking a couple people out.
Listen.
And you know what I did? I tapped into my skills. I tapped into my coping skills. Mental, emotional health. For those who don't know, I am a therapist by trade. I am licensed in PA in New Jersey. However, even as a therapist, I have a therapist. And one of the things that I have been working on is being able to manage and self-regulate and tap into my wellness skills to make sure that I'm accountable for myself and my actions, right? As much as sometimes we feel like, we want to respond and react to folks, people, places, and things, but particularly to people, because you will be tried, you will be tested, the work that has to be done, during those moments, you'll find that you've really done work on yourself and you can apply those tools, I guess is what I'm saying. And so I'm talking my shit to say, I've been able in real time to utilize my self-regulation tools and not allow people or things or situations or circumstances to influence me and who I am. I am who I am at the end of the day. Nobody can take me off my square. People only do what you allow them to do. Right?
Sure.
One way or another. Good, bad, or indifferent. People only do what you allow them to do. And it's okay within your experiences to learn from them. But to make sure that, sometimes, when people do us dirty, sometimes it can bring out the darkness in us. I think all of us have a little bit of darkness, right?
I got a lot. I got a lot. Okay, it's a nightmare. If you cross me, period. Stay in your lane. It will stay sunny and not rainy. Okay? That's how I feel about my darkness.
I'd be scared.
Oh Lord. I want everybody to know that it's only a little bit. Right? We all got it. I can attest that Mercedes light outshines any darkness. Trust me. It's only a little bit. It's kind of like what she's trying to say, and I'm not speaking for Mercedes. Don't drag me for this, but I know. Don't tell me how I know. I just know.
Period.
She's like an eclipse.
Yes.
You know how, you see what I'm saying?
I love it.
You see that?
Yes.
It's not darkness that we see. It's just that sometimes the cloud can be blocking some of the light. So some of the wrongdoing, some of the, if you cross her, the light is there. Yeah. It's just sometimes, in an eclipse kind of way. You see the light, but you can't really see all of it.
But when it's pitch black, you better cover up, okay? Because I'm coming from every angle.
I don't even know how we even got here. This is the thing. I don't even know how we got here. However, I don't even know. I was supposed to be lifting the people up with telling you that if you prevented yourself from catching a case, good. Congratulations.
Yes. Round of applause.
Be proud of yourself.
Yes.
Because it takes a lot. It takes a lot to, propel yourself over the negativity.
Yes.
And I understand not everybody does us good. Not everybody treats us the way we treat us. And you know what? Sometimes you gotta be the villain in their story. Mm-hmm. And that's okay. It's their story. But you're the writer of your own story. Just because somebody made you a villain in their book, don't mean you the villain in yours. Mm-hmm. Everybody's a character here playing in everybody's story. And sometimes you're going to be labeled the antagonist. Sometimes you're going to be labeled the protagonist. Sometimes and that's okay. But you're the author of your own. I don't consume roles in anybody else's book. Whatever you put me as, cool. I'm all right. I'm Cruella in some people's story. However, I'm Cinderella in mine.
I'm Cruella, Maleficent, and all of them. And Ursula. Because what's wrong with being a villain? What's wrong with being a quiet, unbothered, leave me alone villain? Like, I'm not bothering you. I might not be smiling. When you walk by guys like, you need to smile more. I don't want to smile.
Yeah. Well, you know what? You bring up a good point, right? Because I don't know, I know that you're very interested in theater as far as like loving to see plays and different things like that. I love theater as well. And not too long ago, I went to go see Wicked. Mm-hmm. And Wicked, for those of you who don't know, is a play right now. It was here at the Kimmel Center recently in Philly, but they were on Broadway for so long in New York. But Wicked is a story about the Wicked Witch of the West, the Green Witch in The Wizard of Oz.
Yep.
If you didn't know. Now everybody has a backstory. And Wicked was just one of those stories that was the epitome of somebody else making you the villain when you're really not the villain. I think that's interesting.
I loved it. And they had a movie on Disney Plus, the Cruella de Vil, like her backstory.
Yes.
And it just made me love her even more.
Yeah.
It made me love her because you see them as a person.
Yeah.
If somebody's being mean to you, you don't see what they went through that day. You don't see who's been telling them no or who's been being mean to them. Yeah. You're just like, why are you attacking me? And it's like, even though it's not right to project your feelings on other people, it happens.
It happens. If you haven't seen Wicked, I don't know where it is right now, but go see it.
I think it's
Take a trip. Go see it. It's a really, really good show. And it's a really great storyline. I actually didn't even know until I went to go see the play that The Wizard of Oz, we often hear about The Wizard of Oz, but it's actually a collection of books. It's like 4 books as a volume.
I heard of it.
And Wicked is one of them about the Wicked Witch of the West. But I think, it's also indicative of can't judge a book by its cover. because I'm not going to give you any of it because I don't want to destroy the moment for you if you decide to read the book or go see the show. However, she's not what you think she is, and never was.
That's always the case, though.
That's always the case.
It's not
right?
what you think it is until you know it, and then it's up to you to either go with what you now know or to go with what you assumed you know.
Wow, that's a mouthful. And that's talking your shit today. That's talking your shit. Listen, big yourself up. You can't big yourself up enough. I don't think as humans, we give ourselves enough credit for the things that we had to overcome on a day-to-day basis.
Yes.
It can be, talking your shit is, what? I decided to wake up and get in the shower.
Exactly.
You know how hard it is sometimes, when life, when it does the things that it does to you at times, to just get out the bed, shower, put your hair in a ponytail, whatever you gotta do. And even if you don't go nowhere or sit, let me tell you about, mental, emotional health and physical health, right? It's like sometimes taking that shower, it doesn't resolve a whole lot of things, but it definitely makes you feel better. And for some people, it takes a lot of energy to do that. Yeah. So if you decided to do that today, I think that's amazing.
Kudos to you.
You got up and took a shower.
Yeah.
We take that for granted.
Yeah.
It's a lot of people that want to get up out the bed and take a shower and can't, for a lot of different reasons.
Yes.
So the fact that you could do that, I think, is amazing. So talk your shit, because you gotta know when to talk your shit, because other people want to talk shit about you.
Exactly.
Good, bad, or indifferent.
Exactly.
You want to determine the shit they talk, though. Talk it to yourself.
Period.
All right, wellness experience. This segment is all about a wellness experience. Have you had a wellness experience that kind of stands out to you recently?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I like coffee. I like going to the cafe and stuff like that. So I've been kind of like making it an experience. Like I have a coffee coat in the morning. Like after I drop my daughter off at school, I put on my little coffee coat and I go to Starbucks and I ask the baristas like, what's this and what's that and what's your favorite flavor? What's like whatever. Like I feel like if I give myself options, I have options to choose from. I have choices that I have multiple choices I can make. So it just makes me feel like, you that girl now. You got your little pistachio, handcrafted cold brew macchiato with a splash of vanilla, sweet cream, and oat milk. Can't nobody tell me nothing.
Wow.
Period. That's my wellness experience.
Wow.
What's your wellness experience?
My wellness experience. Yes, my wellness experience. Well, I love to get my hair and nails done. I actually will get my nails done and not have my hair done. It is something about going to the nail salon, or just like, it's something about like my feet and my hands. They just, I use them a lot.
Every day.
I use them a lot.
Yes.
And I just like feeling good, like having my hands and my feet done. I'm one of those women that get their feet done in the winter time.
You have to. Come on, all that dry skin building up.
Come on.
Please make your appointment to your local nail tech and get your feet done.
meaning Mercedes.
Period.
Listen to me. I don't just get my feet done in the summertime when your feet are out and you're wearing sandals or whatever. All year long, right? Because I gotta look at my feet all year.
Yes.
And I want my feet to look, I want them to look and be looking.
Yes.
Looking.
Yes.
With the feet. It's something about it. Like, for me, as far as a wellness experience, it's not any particular experience more than it is. That's what I do to take care of myself.
Yeah.
I frequent the nail salon. I get my hair done. So of course, as you can see, I'm a lot clean.
Period. Period.
And shout out to Holly, my loctician, and you'll find that Holly is everything. She's my loctician. She's my makeup artist.
Yes, Holly does a lot.
She's my
shout out to Holly.
Shout out to Holly.
Bring Holly up in here.
Shout out to Holly. Holly's gonna come on the show. We're gonna have Holly on here. Holly, if you watching this episode, I'm sorry that I volunteered you to come on the podcast, but we need to talk to you. Holly, I mean, when I say everything, she damn near my stylist. She's the video photographer. She's everything. I'm a one-hit wonder kind of person. So if I find somebody, and Mercedes will tell you, I'm not a good person. Don't tell me you're talented, because
now you have to show and prove, because Charlotte's not gonna.
I'm gonna give you all the rules. I'm not giving them out to nobody else. If you can do 10 things, guess what? You're gonna do all them 10 things for me. Don't tell me you're talented. So Holly, I'm sorry. But Holly is my loctician. She has been since the beginning of time. She is the one that started my locks almost 7 years ago.
Wow.
7. I can't believe it.
Wow.
And for the haters, you know who you are in love, who didn't think I was going to make it. They didn't think I was going to make it a day. Why? Because I'm a person who likes to get their hair done often. And I like to switch it up. And it's like, to have locks, this was a process. Like, I just so happened, Holly and I lived in the same apartment complex, and I was getting my hair done, I want to say almost like 3 times a week.
Child.
Because I couldn't, that first 6 to 8 months is like that roughest process you go through. Yeah. My hair, didn't lock, right away. It took time. And like that kind of phase that you go through, that struggle phase, because I don't want to call it an ugly phase, because I don't want y'all to drag me like people out here. But for me,
this ugly.
It was a root phase. Like, but honey, after the 8 months, like things, my locks really did take on a personality of their own. And it's like, I love it. It matches my lifestyle. But almost 7 years, people didn't think I was going to make it. Because I'm a person whose hair was down their back. And then one day you'll see me and it's cut all off. That's how I am. Like, when I move to change my look, I do it. Yeah. But they didn't think I was going to make it. And look, I'm 7 years down. I got butt locks. If y'all really want, one day I'm going to let y'all see. My locks is down to the crack of my behind. Don't hate on me. 7 years almost. This year will be 7 years I've been in lock heaven. And some people don't know this. I have lock goals. I only have one more to obtain. And my last lock goal is to have locks at the bottom of my cheek. Okay. My butt cheeks.
I like it.
So once they get to the bottom, I would have completed my lock mission.
So would you cut your locks, or would you continue to let them grow and grow, or?
That is a good question. I don't know. I think it's whatever is going to move my spirit once I complete that goal. I always said that when I got to a certain age, I was going to cut them off. I don't think I'm going to have locks forever. Let me say that. I know at some point I am going to cut them. I just don't know when. Right now, how my life's set up, it's set up for a lock life. Yeah. No other life. And because I'm natural and will always be natural at this point, no shade to the unnatural women out here. You got to do what you got to do for your hair. But I, found benefit in growing out my perm and just didn't really want those chemicals in my hair. Right. Because I've always had a perm. My hair is naturally curly, and I'm a sweater. So without a perm, to get my hair to be in a straight look was just yeah, that wasn't what happened. But I think the older I got, the more educated I became on just how important health hair is, and you know, to a lot of different things. I was just like, you know, I'm gonna grow my hair out. I'm gonna grow the perm out. I'm gonna go natural. So even when I cut it, I'm gonna be natural. But because of the type of hair that I have, you know, I have to consider how I'm gonna style it. Yeah. And so that's the thing. So I don't know, but I think that I will have my locks at this point for a sufficient amount of time. You know, I might do 7 more years, or, you know, 10 years, or I might die with them. I don't know. But that's my last goal for my locks. I've had a few. Of course, the initial was to get locked.
I've never even thought about like having lock goals. Yeah. Like I'm really like, yeah, I like that, because I've thought about having locks like years, like before everything before extensions and they put in weave inside. Before all that, I was like, I want locks, but I want my hair to grow to a certain length, so then I won't go through that 6 to 8 month phase. And then I'm like, because I don't like them. I got 4C hair. My hair is thick. That shit is coarse. That shit shrinks up. My hair naturally is here. But let me pull this back, and this one, silly girls in the house, okay? That's what my hair be giving. I'm like, I'm just done with it. So I'm like, okay, I'll do wigs, I'll do braids, I'll do whatever. But I am thinking about locks. Yes. And then you bringing up lock goals is just like, that's like luxury hair. Yes. Like, I got goals for my hair. This is what I'm trying to do. That's it.
I'm telling you.
I've never thought of that, and I really like it.
I mean, you know, for those of you just joining us, you know, we talk about the 8 dimensions of wellness a lot. It is something that, you know, my private practice, therapy practice, you know, is the foundation of the practice, the 8 dimensions. And, you know, if I didn't have lock goals, I wouldn't be living a Lotus Living lifestyle, right? The 8 dimensions is all about, you know, evaluating where you are, you know, in regards to your wellness, and then wanting to do better. And in order to do that, you have to develop goals, and you have to execute that plan in order to follow through on whatever that balance you're trying to create. And that was something that I had to do for my hair. I know myself, and at times I know how impulsive I can be with a lot of different things. And I found that it provided me structure and motivation to look forward to something. Like, you know, I think knowing that some people was like, girl, you're not going to make it through the first couple weeks, knowing what that goes through, I was just like, oh, yes, I am. Yeah. And I think that kind of kept me invested, but I really started to appreciate that process for myself. And was like, you know, I want to get locked. And then it was like, I can't wait until I put it in a ponytail. Yeah. And then it was like, I can't wait until I'm able to put it in a bun. And it's like, I done checked off all those boxes. And, you know, the first goal the next one was like getting past my shoulders. And then I'm like, middle of my back. Then I'm like, crack locks. Crack. But crack, not crack the drug. But crack, not crack the drug.
Yes.
Let me be clear.
Yes. But no shade to anybody with crack locks, I guess. You do what you do with your hair.
Yeah. I thought you was going to say no shade to nobody on crack.
Well, child.
No, stop. This is not funny. No, don't laugh at that part. Don't laugh.
Moment of silence as we pull it together.
This is what you get with Lotus Living.
Yes.
Lotus Living is just being yourself, you know?
Yes. While being held accountable.
Yeah. But yes. Then my next goal, butt locks to the bottom of my cheek. And so I don't have that far to go. I feel like my hair will probably be cheek level, and I'm talking about underneath the cheek, because if you know how Black women cheeks set up, I got a little bit to go. It ain't just to the cheek. I'm talking about underneath the cup.
Yes.
I think I'm gonna be that this year. By the time we transition into next year, I'm gonna have cuff cheek locks. That's what I'm gonna call them. And then, you know, we'll see what happens from there. I'm gonna give y'all a preview. I'm gonna have Holly lock my hair up straight. so that you can see the length. I'm very proud of them. Very proud of them. So yes, like, yeah, I say come on over. It has been one of the best decisions I've ever made, because it really doesn't matter what state your locks are in. They're locks, and so they're meant to look however they look. Right. And they do have a personality. You know, some lock groups that I'm in, you know, sometimes talk about how locks can hold energy and, you know, different things, and I can hear that. You know, I don't know how much like I'm drawn to that, but I feel like people hold energy, and if your hair is attached to yourself and you are, you know, emotionally, mentally, and or spiritually attached to other people, places, and things, of course everything about you is going to hold on to some of that. And I think sometimes when women cut their locks to kind of release that energy or purge them or whatever, you know, they believe that they're doing, that's only a symbolism of what you're physically, mentally, and emotionally doing anyway. You know what I mean? However, shout out to all of my lock goddesses and my lock gentlemen and gods out there, kings out there. Keep it locked up. Lock it up. Your hair, not your physical being. I don't want you to get locked up. I don't want that. Your hair. Keep it locked. Woo, now, if y'all been following this for a while, that was the longest wellness experience ever.
They said, okay, we get it, Shar. We get it. You love your locks. You try to walk around bucket naked with shit locks down to your butt cheeks. Down to the
cuff butt locks. Cuff cheek.
Yes.
Okay. Longest wellness experience segment ever. All right. Next segment, we gonna get right into the juice.
To the tea.
We gonna get to the juice, to the tea, to the water, to the poisonous river.
Yes.
This is what we like to call wellness in the streets, or lack thereof. Right? All about the 8 dimensions here at Lotus Living with Shar. And so we like to take some of the dimensions and apply them to what is going on in our communities, in our city, in our state, in our country, in our world. And it has been a lot going on. It is always a lot going on. But we attempt to tie some of these societal concerns, issues, topics, comments, and plug them into the dimensions.
And be mindful, this is not CNN, this is not Fox 29.
It is not.
Don't even come over here with that, okay?
It is not.
Don't even expect it.
Yeah, so let's get right into it. It's a couple dimensions we may or may not get to today, but we're going to start off with talking about the spiritual dimension. Now, this is one that disturbs me a bit. Where's she going? Oh God! Where'd she go?
It's just a fact.
Where'd she go?
The spiritual dimension is. Whew, we are in a spiritual battle.
We are. You know what? We are in a spiritual battle now. The spiritual dimension of wellness is all about. It's about a number of things. For one, it's about being able to, really relate and identify your purpose in living. That's just overall, right? But for some individuals, the spiritual dimension can also be about your higher power, your relationship with your higher power, whatever you might believe in, regardless of your religion. It is your faith-based ideas, experiences, all of those things. For some people, it's their, experience in relationship with nature, right? Being able to get outside and, relate to nature, relate to all of the things that, are here with us on earth, that provides our needs. And I also find that individuals within this dimension who believe in astrology and who believe in, the spirit world, who believe in, crystals and that type of understanding, this is also an area that these individuals, which help us find balance. Okay, so the spiritual dimension, and you'll find as we talk about certain things here that they overlap, because the dimensions overlap at times. Our relationship with our higher power can of course transcend into our mental and emotional health, right? That is the whole point of the 8 dimensions. They all influence each other, which is why we have to strive not for perfection but for balance. That's important, right? So spiritual dimension. Recently, you may not be aware, and I won't necessarily talk about all of the details, but P. Diddy, aka Puff Daddy, aka Dr. Combs, aka Love, Dr. Love.
I thought it was Buddy Love.
I thought it was Buddy Love. Is that somebody else's name?
I don't know. I don't know. Child. Anyway, I think y'all know who I'm talking about. Bad boy. Have been in a bit of a turmoil. Yeah. I would consider a lot has happened, right? In the news, he had been previously sued by, I believe, a member. It used to be a person he was in a relationship with, and who was also in a group, right? Did she sing in like a group that he was doing in one of his shows? What was that show he used to do? Making a Band?
Oh no, she wasn't from me. Casey, the girl who.
Yeah, well, you see how out of touch I am.
Solo artist.
Okay, I'm a bit out of touch with like pop culture and kind of what happens. I know bits and pieces of things, but yeah, I know enough to have a conversation about within the 8 dimensions of wellness. So anyway, he was sued for they settled outside of court for an unnamed amount of money, and everything that was described in the court documents named people, places, and things. And one of those people was TD Jakes. Now, P. Diddy was accused, allegedly, of a lot of improprieties, such as sexual
assault,
deviance.
Assault. She's the lawyer. You got the terms. I don't got the terms.
I went to law school.
She went to law school.
I have a law degree.
And she has a law degree. To me, that's a lawyer. That's a lawyer. Okay, that's a judge. Clank the hammer. That's a judge. Okay, that's what we need to bring. That's what we need to bring right here.
A gavel. I have one in my office.
A gavel. See, I don't know the term.
I have one in my office.
We might have to bow.
Ooh, maybe we'll make that a segment with the gavel. I'll do my own little judging of things. This is a non-judgmental space, but it's not, in a way. I don't know how you get 2 things can live in the same place.
Yeah, we're bringing attention.
To awareness.
Yeah,
I think that's good.
Yeah, I like that.
Anyway, he was alleged sexual assault, other improprieties, and once that kind of hit the airways, a lot of other people were implicated, and TD Jakes apparently was one of those people. Now, if you know TD Jakes is a pastor. He very well known for some of his movies that he's produced and created. He's known for, of course, his sermons. He has a church in, is it Dallas, Texas, I believe, called the Potter's House. Someone that I would have considered, at least just from my perspective, to be a pillar of the Black, like, Christianity type community. And apparently he was has been implied or stated that he has engaged in some of these activities as well. Assault, inappropriate sexual behaviors. And I was distraught. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest and say I was a bit taken aback. Not even initially when I heard it, because I'm just like, okay, like, you know, once the thing with Diddy came out, and then a whole lot of other people, because I must have been under a rock somewhere, because even with this, all of the stuff that came out with Diddy, I started to find out that this is like not new information.
Right.
Like, people have talked about this years and years ago, of the different parties that he would have, and, you know, some of it was, you know, him engaging not only with women but with men, and, you know, I'm like, well, where did I hear that story? Because when I say I'm not in the know, I'm just not in the know. I didn't know this until all of this came out, and apparently TD Jakes apparently was a part of these parties.
Child. It's like every time you say TD Jakes, I just hear TD Cakes. And it's like that's what they're saying that he was in these communities with Diddy. And it's like, I'm not here to come at anybody about their sexual orientation. You want to do what you want to do. You can do what you want to do with whoever is of age and is consensually wanting to do it with you. But it's like, it becomes a jaded line, because now we have a certain pillar of spirituality being mixed in with, what would you call it? The world?
The world.
And it's like, okay, well, if it is happening, right? Mm-hmm. What does that mean for you? Mm-hmm. Does that mean that now, because you listen to that person, you gonna go hard for them? You about to defend this person who ain't never did nothing for you but give you a good word? Or is it something that you're like, I'ma just continue to do me? Like, if I'm inspired by what this person is saying, I'ma still listen to it. Yeah. Even if you a power bottom, it don't matter. I'ma still listen. You a power bottom. That's what they call TD Jakes.
Can you define?
A power bottom is like, you know, you have tops and you have bottoms. The
tops and bottoms of what?
Like in sex, like the top, between two men, there's a top and a bottom. The top gives and the bottom receives. So if he's a power bottom, he's receiving a lot of power in that area. So it's just
stop.
To me.
Wait a minute.
To me.
This is.
It's a lot, but see, I don't have anything against TD Jakes, but like mega churches, I just always stayed away from. And it's like, so when I heard this about TD Jakes, I wasn't surprised. Remember, what's his name? Eddie Long. It's like he was another mega church guy, and then it was another. There's like been pastors all throughout time. Even the guy who's married to the woman from Real Housewives of Potomac, Jamal or something. Even he's had stuff. It's like, I'm so used to just hearing that these pastors are doing things that human beings do, that I'm not surprised by it. It's like, sometimes I laugh at, I mean, it might be wrong to laugh at it, but it's like, when it comes to entertainment, it's like I try my best not to get too invested, too upset, because what is that going to do for me? But this shit is crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I think in this particular situation, and of course, at the end of the day, just a disclaimer, I don't know what's substantiated or not. I don't know what's true or not. Just the implication, though, in itself, like whether it's true or not, like, in my opinion, your name shouldn't be tied to it, regardless.
Right.
And this is not to take away from what you're saying. You said something very relevant. I'm not surprised anymore, because this is what people do. He is a person. He is a human. He's not absolved from any engagement of anything any other person does. However, I would be lying if I didn't say that there are certain behaviors that I expect from certain people. Like I do, you know. As a Christian, I identify as such. You know, we look to, I guess, not to say that I look to him to do this,
right, but
so
he's
to
the
speak.
person that you're expecting.
Yeah, like
be
I just,
point.
yeah, I don't want, you know, to know that it's possible that you could have engaged in any inappropriate behavior. When I say inappropriate, I am more concerned in regards to, you know, any particular violence or, you know, assaulting anyone, or, you know, not the behavior of who you engaged in consensual sex with, male or female, or anything else.
Right.
You know, that's not really my concern. It's more the disturbing, you know, activities. Like nobody should ever really be assaulted or feel right as though they are engaging in an activity that they felt they didn't have a choice to engage. It's that part for me.
Yeah.
I just feel like your name should never come up.
Yeah, like honestly.
Seriously, like
your name shouldn't come up. Regardless of who you are, your name shouldn't come up.
No,
like if you're doing
come up.
right, your name shouldn't be coming up. And that's where my thing is at, because it's like, why is your, but I don't care what you, I don't care if you said you did it, you didn't do it. Why is your name in it? Like you as a pastor, like when I used to go to, when I was in the church and things of that nature, pastors always made it a big point that as a pastor, you're different from your congregation. You're supposed to show these people how to live holy. Like you're supposed to be the example. You made that sacrifice the day that you were sworn, like the day that you were ordained to become a minister. And it's like, okay, so now when you playing with the worldly shit, it's like, what the fuck is the difference now? Why am I giving you my money? I'm like, it's just the money. Like when people start touching money they ain't never touched before, they start doing shit they never did before in order to keep that income flowing. Period. Like when you're scamming and you done touch $50,000, you about to go 10 times higher to get even more money, and you're going to keep doing it until you get exposed for it and now you get cut off, or you're just going to keep doing it until you feel as though you've had enough. And it's like with mega church pastors, I see that. Like the white guy, Joel Osteen, you're like a motivational speaker. You talk so much about helping people and things of that nature. But a few years ago when Texas was in that environmental crisis, you wasn't opening your doors to people. And it's like, I had an aunt that used to pay this man tithes. She had never been to the church, nothing. She used to get 10% of her paycheck to this man's church. And you mean to tell me that you can't even open the door for your community, but that's all you talk about? But they're pouring into you, and they're pouring into you. And you feel so powerful that you like, you know what? I can keep these doors locked on these motherfuckers, because what they gonna do about it? It's like, that's the part where it's like, okay, you getting a little, maybe you need to go back to the drawing board. And maybe you need to get baptized, whatever you need to do. Because you're not, me personally, I don't feel like you're doing it right. Like, the church is supposed to help the community. It's supposed to take care of the community. So then when you hear things, like, I'm so used to hearing things about pastors, like even in Philadelphia, you know how many pastors is in Philadelphia cutting up, and it's like, I'm supposed to sit here and listen to what you're saying because you was ordained? Like, no, you're feeling yourself a little too much.
And I think that's the struggle for me. I haven't been to church in some time. Not making any excuses, so to speak. I am looking for a church home. However, just have not been able to find the place that I'm comfortable. But the leadership, you know, I struggle sometimes, and I can be honest with the leadership in churches in differentiating these men and women leaders of churches. It's like rationally, I know that they're people, like they're humans, and I'm sure tested just as much if not worse than all others because of what they have been called to do. Oh God, but I feel like there's a difference between, you know, having these human experiences like disappointment, frustration, anger. I mean, even Jesus, you know, went into, you know, the synagogue or the church and flipped over, you know, the tables when he found that they were gambling, you know, prior to his death. It's like, even Jesus got angry, like, you know, and I'm not saying that these individuals cannot make mistakes, but assault to me is not a mistake.
No, that's a choice.
You know, it's like, you know,
chose to do that.
kind of, you know, putting yourself on this particular pedestal. I mean, when you're in a mega church, and I'm not a mega church person by any means, I feel like once you're a mega church, in my opinion, you've transcended church. You're not a church.
Right.
You're a business. That's the type of institution you are.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that churches are not businesses, but churches, I feel like, especially mega church, kind of lose the humility that I find in churches. You know, that kind of, you know, making sure that you have what you need versus I have planes and I have jets and I have vacations and I'm wearing Gucci. I mean, what happened to, you know, just that humility about your calling? It's like at the end of the day, God is going to bless you with your, what was meant for you is going to be for you.
Exactly.
One way or another. So if you were meant to have millions, you're going to have millions. But it's just the look of it for me. It's never been my thing.
Yeah.
I was raised by my grandparents, and my grandma was everything in her church. She was the deaconess. She was the Sunday school teacher. She was the treasurer. So I know how it goes. You know, I grew up in a, you know, apostolic Pentecostal home. So, but our church was a storefront church on a corner. That's what I'm used to.
Right.
You know,
Right.
Not, you know, a mega church. I'm fine with a medium church. A church in which you might know me, you might not know me.
Right.
However, it ain't like it's 10 million people in the crowd. But I just feel like, you know, our, you know, spiritual leaders in whatever religion and whatever it might be, have a duty to the people. Have a duty to upholding, you know, whatever that belief system is, and responding and behaving in a manner as an example to others. And when I hear stories like this, it just, I mean, for a person who is trying to find their way, I can see how discouraging it could be. What do I need to go to church for? What do I need to go to the masjid for? What do I need to go to the synagogue for? What do I need to do XYZ for? Well, pretty much y'all niggas doing the same shit. What do I need to do that for?
Right.
You know, it's like you kind of lose all of that, and it's disheartening. What I will say in regards to this is, when it comes to faith, when it comes to your belief system, we have to think about developing that relationship independently, not leaning on any particular person, regardless of their role, 100% as like our example.
Right.
We have to remember that they are people, right? I can't say who called who to do what. Right? Because I ain't talked to God. God didn't say to me, sure, TD Jakes was meant to lead the flock. Or, you know, Creflo Dollar was meant to do X, Y, Z. He didn't tell me this. You know, I didn't hear it. You know, usually people who are called are, that's an individual conversation, whatever that conversation was.
Right.
However, you know, we do have a responsibility for our own spiritual growth. And although we do, you know, lean into our leaders to be examples and to guide us, because that's naturally what we do. People guide us, right? To do certain things. I mean, even when I think about Dr. Martin Luther King, God rest his soul, and all of the things that he's done for humanity, for black and brown people, when it came to the civil rights movement. I mean, this man lost his life.
Right.
For you and I to sit here to freely discuss whatever it is we're discussing. However, he was an adulterer also. He wasn't absolved from human, behavior.
Right.
He was a man.
And when I first heard when I heard Martin Luther King loved white women, he was cheating on Coretta, I didn't want to believe it. Because I'm like, no, he like, you're talking you speaking for the people, you want rights for the people, blah, blah, blah. But when you go home and you take that jacket off, you have other needs. Like, you have other needs, and it blows my mind because I was watching, I saw a video on YouTube, I forgot what it was, but it was a person who was kind of talking about like the mindset of Martin Luther King and Coretta Scott, and he's like, just because Martin Luther King could speak so eloquently to us, who knows if that's what was happening at home?
Yeah.
Who knows if he was able to communicate his feelings to his wife? Because this is still the 50s and the 60s.
Correct.
A true definition of a man is to never cry, like Music Soul Child says. So was he actually talking to his wife? Like, I'm having these feelings, I'm having these urges, I really like this, I really want to do that. Yeah. Or was it just, when I get home, I'm still expected to be this person that I am outside? And it's like, that's the conflict that leaders go through. Because the leader's like, I want to flip the table and beat somebody's ass. But it's like, I have people looking at me, so I can't do that. Right. I might not do it at all, or I might just start to do it discreetly. Yeah. And then it's like, that's where it gets like messed up. Yeah.
I couldn't imagine being in his position. I think that it's very telling. For one, you don't know what's going on in somebody else's home. You know what I mean? And we have to take the time frame into consideration, just in general, like, those societal kind of norms when it came to women and in relationships and black culture and what happens in men and women relationships. And let me say this, since we're talking about black culture, not to get away from what we're talking about in regards to the spiritual dimension, but since you brought it up, The Color Purple came out not too long ago. Loved it.
I loved it too. I cried a lot.
I got teary-eyed.
Yeah,
I got teary-eyed a bit, but it was really good. I know that there had been mixed reviews. I think most of the reviews were positive. Yeah. But some of the mixed reviews, for one, it was the folks who don't like musicals. Can I say this about musicals, people? Listen to me. The Color Purple, the movie that just came out, was not a depiction of the movie that came out way back when, or the book. It was the movie version of the musical, so it was going to be a musical. Come on, folks.
That's why they were singing and dancing. I mean, they wasn't really singing and dancing like that in the movie.
Correct.
So
the movie was the movie. The drama part, that was the movie. This was meant to be a musical because it was a depiction of the musical, just like Dreamgirls.
Oh, girl, that's my movie. I love me some Dreamgirls. I know everything.
Dreamgirls was a play, and it was a musical. Yeah. So when they made the movie, it was the movie.
It remained a musical. Yes. Still remained a musical.
So that was one. Not everybody likes musicals, which I can respect and understand, but I think that kind of went over people's head a little bit because I think that they were looking for like a remake of The Color Purple, and it wasn't a remake of The Color Purple. It was an adaptation of the musical. Yeah. But I love musicals. However, one of the more significant dissensions here was how black men were portrayed.
How do you feel they were portrayed? Or were they saying they were portrayed?
That they were portrayed in a negative light. Thinking of Mr. Thinking of Celie's, who she thought was her father, who was really her stepfather. The abuse, the incest, the all of those things. It was like shown in a negative way, and that people are such in an uproar in regards to how black men are being portrayed in movies. I'm gonna say it because I feel like it's important to say. This shit happens in black homes.
Like, this shit is our history.
As much as and you know, if you've been following me personally, professionally, tuning into Lotus Living, you know, I fucking love black men. There's no other option for me. Right. I'm married to a black man, right? Have only dated black men. That's my cup of tea. I like my tea dark. Mm-hmm. I like my coffee dark. Mm-hmm. Just in case you ain't know. And that's preference. I have black sons. I have black male friends, colleagues. I have a black father.
Right.
Right? However, black people, men and women in family units have done some crazy shit. We're not absolved from that. Right. Black men have had children with their daughters. Mm-hmm. Black men have engaged in abuse of their wives, their girlfriends, just like women.
Right.
Women have been abusers too of their children. I mean, Precious, she was raping her own daughter.
Yeah.
She was black, and I understand that wasn't, it's happening in families all the time, in black families all the time. I'm trying to figure out the confusion as to why there's an uproar, I guess.
I feel like people will say, I don't see enough films where black men are being celebrated, or they're being loved on, or they're being kind and soft-spoken and things of that nature. And it's like, to be quite honest, when you open up your door and you're in your black neighborhood, what black man do you see that's just men aren't allowed to really be happy. They're not really allowed to show emotion, and then when they do, they're criticized for it. Yeah. But all they knew was what they were corrupted in. Like, that's all they knew. And it's like, I don't feel like people understand that. They saw those black men from the 1920s who was possibly born in like 1875, they saw their moms getting raped. Mm-hmm. They saw white people treating their fathers like how their father treated their mother. Mm-hmm. So then they said, that's the way that I treat a person. Yeah. If I want something from that person, I gotta emasculate you completely. Yeah. I gotta break you down completely in order to get what I want from you. Mm-hmm. Now we're learning. Yeah. Like, we're just learning. We got family members. I got an 80-year-old male cousin who's like, what you mean? What are you talking about? A feminine woman and a masculine man? What you mean hypergamy? Mm-hmm. Like, bitch, do what the fuck you gotta do. Mm-hmm. Cause I'm doing what I gotta do. Mm-hmm. I don't have time for all that. She crying, I gotta comfort her, I gotta do that. Nobody ever did that for me. Mm-hmm. And it's like, that's where we come from. Yeah. So you make the choice. Do you do it because somebody did it for you? Like, mm-hmm. because somebody did it for you? Or do you do it because you're like, you know what? This is something I want to do. The Color Purple musical wasn't to say, Mr. is who all black men is. Yes. They showed you Mr. They showed you his father. They showed you where he got it from. Yes. Then they showed you his son, who was breaking the cycle. Correct. Then they showed you his kids. Yes. So, get out your feelings. Yes. Like, get out your feelings for real and look at the entire big picture. Even Mr. changed. Even he changed.
Why? Because redemption is possible.
Yes.
Restoration is possible. I think you bring up generational trauma.
You get cycles.
I mean, somebody has to say, this is not going to continue. And I think the movie shows that depiction. It shows that, you know what, just because my father was like this, I don't want to be like this. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be like this. And when I tried and realized it didn't work for me, you know what, I don't think that's the way to go. Right. But generational trauma is all throughout our families, whether we want to talk about it or not. Black, white, Asian, Indian, no matter your ethnicity, no matter what your race, you have generational trauma is in there somewhere. Mm-hmm. And even from generation to generation, at times, sometimes even when we've broken the curse, we are responsible often for what happened generations before. We're still making it up, right? We're still trying to make it right.
Yep.
Right? Because at the end of the day, when it comes to black and brown and indigenous people of color, our Native American brothers and sisters, and all of those individuals who are under that umbrella, you know, the white people, the Europeans that are alive now, didn't necessarily do the dirt. Right. However, their generations did.
Exactly.
Somebody got to be held accountable for it. You hear them. You got to make it. And we're still trying to get what belongs to us.
Right.
We still trying to get what's owed to us. Right.
Right.
I teach graduate school and I teach diversity and multicultural considerations this semester. And one of the stories that I recently shared in one of my classes is that when I went to law school in Minnesota, and toward my last year of law school, I was able to take this class. It was kind of like a seminar type class, and work alongside an attorney who practiced tribal law. So in Minnesota, they have tribal law. They have a very high Native American population. Mm-hmm. So there, you know, tribal law is a thing in which lawyers, she was a part of a tribe, and, you know, they go to support individuals, Native Americans, mm-hmm. for a lot of different criminal cases, not criminal cases, legal cases is what I wanted to say. Legal matters. And one of the things that I had an opportunity to do was to travel to DC, to the Library of Congress, and to help research land that these Native Americans are still fighting for. And I went to law school not that long ago. So in sitting in the library, researching different parchments of paper, I literally have in my hand, you know, because they had to trace lineage.
Right.
If they are, you know, saying this land was owned by the Navajo or by the Lenape, you know, a lot of people don't know. A lot of Philadelphia land, mm-hmm. where is Lenape land, right? Or whatever the tribe was at the time. You know, they're trying to say this land belongs to us. I mean, just imagine having been pushed out of it and then having to prove that it belonged to you, mm-hmm. right? So this is not the argument. The argument is that we can't straddle the fence. Point blank, period. That was one of them.
There we go.
Point blank, period. We can't straddle the fence, right? We as black people have done shit to each other. We still doing shit, mm-hmm. right? Mm-hmm. To each other. And I think what I feel, even though in the movie you kind of saw this redemptive characteristic of it too, I just feel like the recent movie, the musical that just came out, really like rounded that part out. Yeah. You know, especially at the end when everybody is collectively together and eating, it rounded it out because you didn't see that in the movie. Mm-hmm. You saw that, you know, he was trying to be in a place of forgiveness, mm-hmm.
Being forgiven,
right. is what I'm saying. But you could see, you know, and it's like, that's the part that we should be proud of. The fact that he even was convicted enough to say, oh my God, I did her wrong. Mm-hmm. I'm a horrible person. Right. How do I get forgiveness? How do I change? That's really the question. When we're talking about a life well lived and a life of purpose and that, you know, growth spiritually, that's the reflection that we really want to start having. How can I be better? Or looking at a person that we wronged and being like, you know what? I'm sorry. How can I make this right? Mm-hmm. And you know, forgiveness doesn't mean reconnection. A person doesn't have to reconnect with you because they may have forgiven you or whatever. And guess what? A person don't even have to forgive you either.
Yeah, to be honest.
They don't. That's your choice. However, it doesn't mean that you're not forgiven. Right. Depending on your belief system, at the end of the day, when you wholeheartedly are convicted by something that you've done, you know, conviction, and you want to make it right, if that person, you know, is like, you know, is doesn't want to offer their forgiveness of you, You ask for forgiveness for who you need to ask for forgiveness for. Your God, your Allah, whatever your God is, whoever it is, whatever you believe, you ask for forgiveness there. You give it to the universe. But when it's felt wholeheartedly within your spirit, you're forgiven already. Them forgiving you is icing on a cake. That's the cherry. That's the part that offers the closure. However, you're forgiven anyway. But it's about the awareness of being able to put yourself in that position to say, I was wrong. It's hard. We don't want to think we did somebody wrong.
It's very hard to be like, damn, I didn't get that right.
I didn't get that right.
All these years I've been doing this wrong.
Right.
Like, it's very hard to come to grips with it.
Yeah. I mean, but I think that's growth. That's maturity. That's lotus living. Right? In order for you to live a life well lived, you have to come to terms with your shit. We don't always get it right.
No.
And sometimes along the way when we don't always get it right, we hurt people sometimes. Just as much as we get hurt, you can hurt somebody by something you say or something you did. Sometimes you know, sometimes you don't know. But like, when talking about spiritual growth, and I know this kind of, I just wanted to mention it because you mentioned it. Like, this was something that was like, I was seeing like on social media, and I'm just like, well, like we can't straddle the fence, because one of the things I want to mention too, when you say, well, one of the things that I think people were saying this because they want to see black men in more of a positive light. When I say straddle the fence, when we see men of color in a positive light on TV, y'all oftentimes downplay that shit. Black people downplay that. Oh, he sis this, he that, oh, what you mean? I thought that's what you wanted, to see men in a more positive light, seeing men take care of their kids, seeing men, being considerate of women,
seeing men
emotionally.
Come on, seeing them cook, seeing them clean.
Girl, listen, seeing them clean, smell good, go to the nail salon, getting massages, getting facials. What is wrong with a man taking care of himself? What do I say when you pour into yourself, when you treat yourself good? You're talking about this vessel, right? This vessel is not going to be here forever. Right. We got to make sure that we take care of it enough for as long as we got it. Exactly. What is wrong with him doing that? Because if he doing all that shit for himself, I can imagine what he about to do for me.
Hello.
Give me a man that smells good. Give me a man that don't have a problem with going to the nail salon. Now, I have limits. I don't want you getting no paint or no fingernail polish.
Well, see, what's crazy is it's this guy on Instagram, Don Terrell or something. He used to be in jail. And he, like, once he got out, he changed his life around. And he's like vegan. He owns a vegan hot dog spot in Washington D.C. Okay. And he had a video where he had these gold 24K eye patches on. He like driving his car, and he talking about how he asked this girl that he's dating or talking to or whatever, could she's coming over to his house, so could she buy him something to eat? And she was like, yeah, sure. Can you just send me the money? And he's like, why do I have to send you the money? Like, why can't you just get me something to eat? And people in the comments like, see, this is why I'm sick of niggas. Like, she already coming to your house. She already spending gas money. You should be considerate enough to get your own food. And I'm just like, and then like, this nigga gayish, because he got, I think his pink, like he be having like little minimal designs on his nose. That's what he like. And he carry a man bag. That's what he like. But he always give people tips on how to treat women and how to set yourself apart as a man in regards to other men. And he was like, at the end of the day, I wouldn't even look at none of y'all. Like, none of y'all are that person I was talking about. Y'all not even at the level that I'm at. For you to think that this has something, for you to think that me having eye patches on and polish on my nails is making me gay, and I'm now feminine because I said to a girl that's coming over, can you just bring me something to eat? That's just looking out for somebody. Because if you bring me something to eat this time, ain't no telling what I'm gonna do for you the next time. And people are, oh my God, I'm tired of niggas testing me. I'm tired of niggas. Life is a gamble, and you never know what you gonna get. One day you gonna get tested, one day you gonna get chose. The same person that tested you might choose you. The same person that chose you might test you. Like, we don't know who the fuck we dealing with for real.
You don't.
So it's like, it's nothing wrong with taking care of yourself. If you take care of your body, that means you take care of your home. That means you take care of your environment. That means you take care of the people around you. That means that people not they're not lacking in certain things.
Yeah.
What is wrong with it?
Nothing.
A man can't just, he going to work, he gonna wear the same top, because then you're gonna start calling him funky.
Yeah.
You're gonna say he stink.
Yeah.
You're gonna say his dick little. Stop. Like,
Yes.
let a man, let a woman figure out who they are for themselves.
Yes.
And then if you still around when that process happens, because change don't happen in a day.
Yeah.
If you still around when that process happen, who knows what could happen with y'all? But why are you mad at a man for taking care of himself?
Yeah, I'm not mad at it at all. You know, what I just said a moment ago was preference. You know, I'm not really into the man with the, you know, the clear polish I could do. The designs and stuff, not my twist. But my thing is, you do what makes you happy. I'm sure there's a woman out there who's fine with that, and that's fine. But I think the idea of being able to take care of yourself, you should. And you should do whatever it is that makes you feel good. I am going to let, as a mom of sons, let them know, yo, go get your hair cut. Go get that shape up. Yes, you could go get a massage. Make sure women I don't want no rough feet on me. Get the pedicure.
Yes.
Okay?
Yes.
Take care of yourself. It's
Yes.
all right. It's all right to treat yourself good, because you almost don't have a choice to treat other people bad. You can't treat yourself good and then treat somebody else bad. That don't even make sense. That math don't math.
That means you're not really treating
yourself
on
good.
Instagram posting the videos to go with your feelings.
That's
you're not
it.
really doing it.
That's it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, that's unfortunate. Like, ladies and gentlemen, we gotta do better. I would be like, yeah, but what you want? What you want to eat? Where you want me to go? You want one or you want two? Mm-hmm. That's the least I can do. You hungry and I'm coming over there walking.
If I fuck with you, if I like you, if I'm like, regardless if we dating or if we just cool, I'm gonna take care of my person.
We gotta do better. That's an episode all in itself, y'all. We ain't even hit the financial dimension today. But we're gonna have to pull up with the financial dimension, because there's a couple things that I really want to say about the financial dimension. You hear me?
Yes.
We'll talk about that on the flip side. But to leave things in regards to the spiritual dimension today and what we talked about, you know, of course, we don't know how substantiated some of these things are. But if I could leave you with anything in regards to your spiritual growth, your spiritual quest of, you know, finding purpose in your life and, you know, just kind of growing within whatever that faith or belief system that you have, remember that your leaders of your belief system are human. God may have, you don't know, but let's just go with, have chosen them for a task, because, you know, that higher power felt like they were the person who could potentially pursue this task and be successful. We don't know. However, they're not absolved from the same struggles as lay people, as you and I. They do wrong. They make mistakes.
No matter how much information they have on
no matter how much to do it. Listen,
they still can do wrong.
You can't get no clearer information than from God. You can't tell me God said, oh yeah, go ahead and cash that bad check. I know God didn't say that. He couldn't.
Right.
Right. Go ahead and cheat on your husband. Evangelist. It's all right. Yeah, Pastor, go ahead and have that other baby. I don't know. I know we supposed to be like wrapping it up, but speaking of other baby, there was just this video trending that went viral not too long ago where the baby mom was pregnant with the pastor's child, came into the church while he was on the pulpit.
Oh no, that must have been a different person.
Yeah, child, they couldn't call up the cops and everything to get him escorted out of the church, child. At the Sunday service.
After offering went out.
Listen, we got to do better.
Yes.
But we cannot lead, follow the leaders. Yeah. And when I say follow the leaders, meaning they are leaders. This is not every pastor. This is not every imam. This is not every rabbi. This is not everyone. And I'm going to come out here and say most of these spiritual leaders, they're doing the best that they can. And they are great leaders. If you are a person who comes from a spiritual place of worship and your leader is top notch, kudos to you for finding somebody that's really about the calling. But there are some who aren't. So you are responsible for making sure that, this person fits, what you're trying to accomplish for yourself. And this is a leader that you want to follow. But don't, I'm not saying don't trust wholeheartedly, but be wise, be smart, about those decisions. And then sometimes, we think that we are following the best person, and then certain things come out and we find that that wasn't exactly what it was. I don't want you to beat yourself up. Don't beat yourself up. You can only know what you know. It's about what you know once you've developed awareness. Once you're clear now, you have to decide on what you want to do.
Yeah.
Right? But spiritual growth is a process. Right? This is a ongoing thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's a spiritual dimension of it. All right. Well, let me say this, folks. Here at Lotus Living is about transcending existence by intentionally creating and sustaining a well-balanced lifestyle, overcoming adversity, and contributing to the well-being of mankind while embracing the evolution of who you were meant to become. You have the right to change your mind. You got the right to grow. You have the right to mature. You have the right to learn. You have the right to get it right next time. So remember that. I'm sure this is Mercedes, my co-host and guest in front of the show for today. This is Lotus Living with Shar. Peace out.